People think that the label is admitting that JK will not be on tour as BTS is 6 starts to trend. We have a video of Bang and J-Hope talking or speaking about something. We also have a solo shot of JK walking at the airport and that creating some conversation. So hey dumplings, it's Dave decided, let's get into it. There has been a photo that has been going viral, and it's a paparazzi shot of JK at the airport. BTS recently landed back in Korea after doing some activities in the US, such as The Tonight Show and other things. They decided to promote their album's merch, which is extremely smart because obviously the merch will bring people back to the album, and they decided to promote the swim merch at the airport. This was a blue baseball cap that said "Keep Swimming," as well as a tracksuit. It's definitely something that I would wear. It's very cute, but there was a shot that just showed JK and people were saying that it really sold it, and this ended up being the main shot that people were talking about. This is probably the smartest thing that he could have done. I mean, the next smart thing would be if they were invited to any movie premieres or red carpets to literally wear their merch because it brings attention right back to them. And what better way to promote the album than to wear something? I mean, the only other thing that they could have done would be them holding their album, but that would have been seen as a little bit probably pompous or conceited, so instead they decided to wear merch, which would make sense. It shows that they're proud of their merch too, right? I love it, and I personally believe that their team needs a raise. I feel like everything they have done recently is so perfect and comes across as so natural. Yet, of course, if you understand the industry and you understand what people do, then you'll look at it and say, wow, this was an amazing job by a PR team. This not only gives the people who come to the airport an exclusive story, but they also get the first look at the design and the outfit, and then thus they can talk about it. But it also, of course, as I said, brings attention back to the album, which is exactly what the boys want to do. They're really taking every opportunity to make sure that this can get as big as it possibly can be, and they're not skipping any opportunities to promote it. Despite the fact that the community believes promotions are not happening, this is what good promotion looks like, where it's not extremely in your face, it's not extremely obvious. If it's billboards and if it's this huge thing, then it makes it so obvious that someone is paying for it to do that. And some people can get kind of grossed out by it. And despite what some people in the community believe, there is such a thing as being overexposed. The boys have generated enough money that they themselves have enough where they could literally be everywhere right now. If they wanted to buy out every single billboard placement in California, New York, in all major cities, they could do that, and it probably wouldn't cost them that much money at all. If they wanted to create an ad and have that ad run 24/7 for the album, they could also 100% do that, but it's going to push people away, not bring them back. So instead, their promotion is doing things like this, where they're going to airports and they're wearing clothes that promote the album. This is very smart. There's a video from the recent BTS documentary on Netflix that people have been talking about. If you're unaware, they have a documentary called BTS The Return, and this is obviously available on Netflix, and it showcased their journey making the album and what their thought process was for each of the songs. One of the songs was called Body to Body, and J-Hope and Bang were talking about that song. Interestingly enough, J-Hope wanted the song to be shorter and felt like if they were to go a little bit longer, it would be a little bit of an overkill of the song, and that it remaining short would feel better. And Bang mentioned that the song would feel better if it was longer, and that's the general consensus that I got from this. I have yet to watch the actual documentary, and this is just based off of the research that I did. And the reason why I haven't seen it yet is because I do want to see if I can react to some parts of it on Patreon, but it is a bit hard to do because of the obvious copyright reasons and things. But if you're interested, then make sure you stay tuned and I will see if I can try to do that. I'll put a link at the top of the description for Patreon. People were saying that the way that J-Hope talks to Bang is so interesting, and that J-Hope is talking to a $1.7 billion CEO and so casually, and essentially telling the CEO, no, I don't want to do this. This is interesting because I feel like this is oftentimes what the community likes to do to sort of make BTS the underdog again. Yes, obviously they were the underdog. However, yeah, they're obviously not that anymore. They've pretty much broken every record at this point. I think most people will acknowledge that they're really successful, even the haters. With that said, obviously J-Hope and the rest of the BTS members were the ones who made Bang into this $1.7 billion CEO. But above all else, and most importantly in my opinion, the BTS members themselves are their own businessmen and CEO in their own right. They all own some sort of company and do things like run a company like what Bang does. Sometimes, in my opinion, it feels like infantilization of the members when people say, oh my god, it's so cute, it's so cool when he talks to someone like that. But it's like, no, he himself is also someone who's really successful. He's made millions of dollars. They themselves, all of them, are CEOs. I wish people would acknowledge that, because then they're aware of the amount of amazing things that the boys have done, because it also sort of makes them seem less accomplished when people don't realize the amount of work that they've done. And I don't mean physically, because obviously how successful they are would really not change depending on whether or not people acknowledge it or not. But Asians are so accomplishment driven, every single one of us, especially because that's what parents have drilled into us. And so yeah, the boys, I believe, want to be known as successful. They want to show off that they're successful. But there's a limit to what they can do. Obviously, they know that if they show off how successful they are money-wise, that's going to be something that's going to be seen in poor taste. So they typically show off things like awards and that sort of stuff. But nowadays, it's become a thing where people don't want to see their artist win a ton of awards, because it starts to differentiate or remove the celebrity from the same tier or bracket that the fans are in. In other words, it makes the celebrity less relatable. And you can see that here when people are trying to lower or lessen the accomplishments of the members. We're trying to say that the audience should be shocked that a BTS member would talk to a CEO like a casual person, when they're also a CEO. People were shocked when BTS Is 6 started to trend, with obviously a lot of people seeing that and having a little bit of a heart attack, because what do you mean 6? Like, one of the members is leaving? Well, apparently that was a huge conversation, as a lot of people felt like JK was leaving. The label put out some merch of the BTS members, and they noticed that not every single member had a jersey, specifically JK. So the conversation initially went from, oh, JK doesn't have one, to, oh, you guys are leaving him out, to this potentially being a soft announcement of him not being on tour. A lot of people like to wear merch to the tours, so does this mean that he's not going to be there, which is why he doesn't have one? In my opinion, it makes zero sense for him to not be on tour, because he's already done so much of the promotion that he's doing right now. And him going solo would make no sense now, because like, why would he have done so much promotion when he could have just, as soon as he left the military, go on solo? There's also things like a formal contract that obviously JK and all the individual members have signed, and he can't just leave whenever he wants to. He has to stick to that at least for the next 7 years, or however long the contract was, and finish that before he decides to go solo. Now, could he go solo while touring with the BTS members? Absolutely, but that's a heck of a lot of work, and at the end of the day, not worth it, because the same people that would be listening to JK would be listening to BTS and streaming BTS. So the label would definitely see as a conflict of interest, because ARMYs don't have an unlimited amount of money or time to stream 2 albums at once and buy into 2 promotion cycles. So yeah, ultimately it doesn't make sense. I don't know what the reason could be for this. I don't know if JK is going to have something, or if the model that's in the picture is supposed to represent JK in his jersey, and that's what the model is wearing. I have no idea. But there are 7 jerseys in the photo. Like, literally, if you count them, you can see that it's just one of them and a person is wearing it. So if that's the case, why make a big deal about this? Why be so angry? Why do all of that when you can literally just assume that it's probably in there, and when you can probably just literally assume that it's in the photo? Maybe we just can't see it. People love to get angry, and I'm wondering if at this point in the label's marketing department, they're aware that maybe a method to get people to pay attention is rage bait. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not for sure what's happening. This is not proven. I'm not saying for sure that this is what they're doing. I don't know. But the matter of the fact is, rage bait is 100% a marketing ploy that people can use, because it works. It's hard to say that the merch wouldn't have circulated within the community the way it has without rage bait, but clearly it works, right? And it has worked, because BTS Is 6 is now trending due to merch, and it would not have been trending otherwise. So in my opinion, it's kind of dumb for them not to do it, but again, I don't know what they're trying to do and if they're taking the opportunity to do that or not. And of course, if they know that the general reaction is going to be heated and cause them to potentially lose money, or just general people not support them anymore, then why choose to do that? But these are just general thoughts, and as I said many times before, I don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes. So let me know what you think, let me know your thoughts, make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.